to harm the player, and we're able to decrement lives and health, and also have the two react with one another. So let's start off with something a little. We'll start off with something that doesn't require a lot of coding, and let's go ahead and get an explosion in. So we're going to go, and we've done this before, but we're going to do it again. We're going to create a particle system. We're going to name said particle system explosion F2. And now we're going to get in here and we're going to kind of change it. So let's change the shape to a hemisphere. We're going to make the duration 1. And we're going to kill the star lifetime. We're going to bring down the start speed. Simulation, all of that is fine. Rate over time. And now we're going to create our start size. Maybe we'll make this a little bit faster. Now, what I want to do is go to size over lifetime. Bring that up. And let's say we start big, right click, we add a key. And we start small. We go up there, we add a key so it stays that size for a while. And then we can bring it back down. And I'm going to make the start size just a little bit bigger. Not too much. Now, even though once we get some of the other things in here, we won't have the ability to use this. I just want to show you the color over lifetime. So as you can see, we can start there. And you can see the color over lifetime. However, when I apply one of kind of the prefab shaders with their sprites, it kind of overrides that. But I at least wanted to, so you can see a definite example of the color over lifetime working. And we're going to import a particle system because I want a sprite. If you wanted to bring in your own, and these aren't going to really so you see something that you like that you want to kind of use, sprite sheet, but I really want something a little bit more realistic. But well, let's do this so you can see what it looks like with a sprite sheet and how to get that set up with an explosion, and then that compared to just using kind of a singular image. So this will be a, now I don't have one pre-made, so I'm gonna have to take one off the internet. Bad me, but I'm acknowledging what is going on. So let's grab this one. Let's get a new folder. Textures. And what we're going to do in here in the inspector, we have our texture sheet that we can use. So let's go here. Let's load in our, well, let's create a material and then load in our sprite as our texture. So we'll go to materials. We're going to create material. Explosion mat. And what we're going to use here, FX, should be, no, particles. And I'm just going to use additive for right now. And then we're going to use our explosion sheet. Boom, comes in. Now, on our particles explosion, click on renderer, and we're going to load in our explosion mat. And this is what we're getting thus far. And we have render mode, billboard, that is just a type, and sorting, particle size, that's all kind of basic stuff. But once we get in here, we have animation, whole sheet, and we have our tiles. Single row. And what we have to do is get this so that it's reading the whole sheet correctly. So it looks like 4x4 is my tile. And once again, you can have a single row or the whole sheet, which is a little bit faster. And you got your sorting mode, normal direction. And then we can tell it which row we want. First one, the second one, or the third one, or the whole sheet, which is going through the whole sheet and it's cycling. And then we can play with our frame over time. adjust which one it uses and go on from there. And there is no controls of the time. And I think that's all we can do. If we want to slow, we'll probably just have to a single row or tell it to do it randomly. And then we can do that. Or if you have, let's say, another one, I'm gonna do one that I feel is gonna be a little bit more conducive to what we need. Let's try this one. And you really do want a sprite with no background. That's going to be a problem, but let's go for it. If I was to load this one in, we can get that. The only reason why we're not really seeing black is because if I go back to my particle and we go, I'm sorry, not a particle, we go back to our material, we have additive, soft, multiply, you'll start to see the black ones. That blended, vertex lit, additive, multiply, we get the same one. But that's the differences between the two. So if you just kind of want to be able to see it, if I was to, well, compared to if I change this back to the other one, which is a PNG with no background, then we won't have to worry about the black. So I just wanted to kind of show you that. And we still get some color over lifetime, but we're not getting as much as you expect, just because of the color. But make that smaller. And we go from there. Any questions about using sprites with particles? All right. And if you're good in Maya, you can create your own particle sheet and go from there as well too. Not good in Maya, that sounds ridiculous. If you understand how to create effects in Maya and explosions, you can use that to create those and then render that out, put that on a sheet and use that as a sheet in Unity. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and prefab this. Explosions. And in explosions, the other thing is we want to turn off looping. So let's get to some scripting. And let's start off with the player. I'm going to create public game object. Explosions. And whenever we are hit with the enemy, and also I'm going to skeleton out. Actually, I don't need skeleton. Wherever we hit with the enemy or other, because we're going to do that today too. Attack. Enemy projectile. We're going to instantiate our explosions. Transform dot position dot quaternion dot identity. And we're going to do the same thing in our enemy. But we're going to instantiate these before we get to it. Alright, let me grab this. Going to grab this from the player. let's get our explosions in here. So in player, we're going to reference in our explosion and the enemy. Because I have not prefabbed my enemy yet, which I should. should do, and let me go ahead and prefab the enemy and the player. And the enemy, we're going to load in the explosions as well. Let's test it. Oops, I missed. There we go. Explosions also helps us hide the respawning of the enemy as well, which is good. The next thing I want to do with my explosions, we eventually will add audio, but I'm not worried about audio right now, unless we just want to go ahead and finish up the explosions, is I want to destroy them after time. Get rid of start, and after a second, destroy this game object, and we'll give it a second. And on our explosions,